Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinna Vadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namah Shri Shankarananda Gurupada Bhujanmane Savilasa Moha Graha Grasaika Karmane Tatpadamburuhadvandvasi Vanirmalachetasam Sukhabodhaya tattvasya vivekoyam vidhiyate. Do you need a book? You have or you don't have? Okay. Give them one, yeah. '53 and '54 we will chant. Itham vakyaistadarthanusandhanam shravanam bhavet yuktya sambhavitatvanusandhanam mananantu yat tabhyam nirvichikitserthe chetasasthapit. Very good attempt, but we'll do it again. Okay, very nice attempt, yeah. But we'll try it again. Tabhyam nirvichitserthe chetasasthapitasya yat ekatanatvame nididhyasanamuchyate. Together. Tabhyam nirvichikitserthe chetasasthapitasya yat ekatanatvame nididhyasanamuchyate. Yesterday we saw the first line of 53. Itham, in this manner. In this manner what? Vakyaihi tad artha anusandhanam. Anusandhanam means fixing. Anusandhanam also means like a stream, being in that stream. Being in the stream of the intended meanings of the Mahavakyas, fixing the Mahavakyas in Anu. That's why the word Anu is there, in keeping with the Shastra and the Guru's vision. The Guru's vision will be what? Shastra's vision. The Guru will not have their own vision. They will not say, Shastra says this, but I disagree. Nobody will say that. The Guru is just the amplifier of the Shastra. Shastra speaks through the teacher. So therefore, Guru Vakyaihi and along with the Guru Vakyas, which are basically Shastra Vakyas, the Artha Anusandhanam. Anusandhanam means seeing the vision just like the teacher sees it. How does the teacher see it? Like his teacher saw it. How did his teacher saw it? Like her teacher saw it. Like this all the way to Bhagavan. That's why whenever the word Anu comes, it is always in keeping with. That is the meaning of the Upasarga Anu. In keeping with. In keeping with what? It will not constantly say, we have to supply. In keeping with the Shastra's vision. Shastra Tatparya. Tatparasya Bhava. Tatparyam. Tatparyam means commitment. Tatparaha, committed to that. What is that? Jagat Karanam Brahma. So then, Tatparya colloquially means commitment. So the Tatparya of the Shruti, the commitment of the Shruti is not anything else except to unfold the vision of non-duality, which is Brahman as yourself. The vision of non-duality first means everything, all that is here is one single, limitless, non-dual whole. And then what about me? You are that whole. This comprises the Shastric vision. That is what the vision of the Shastra is. And so, therefore, the Anusandhanam means ascertaining that. See, it's not enough to say the teacher said it. I have to see this. It's not enough that the teacher's heart was opened after contact with Vedanta. My heart also has to open the same way. It's not enough that the teacher gets the knowledge and becomes the jnani. Then what will happen to all the students? All the students also become jnanis? No. Each one, as we saw in the beginning of this very chapter, each one has to gain the jnanam for whom? Themselves. For oneself, each one has to gain the jnanam. So, it's one thing. In the beginning, yes, I will say I have Shraddha for Shastra's vision. I have trust in the teacher's words. I have Shraddha in the Shastra's vision. But then that has to be converted to my own vision. Otherwise, there will always be duality. Because what will I be subscribing to? Teacher's vision, Shastra's vision. What about my own vision? Oh, that's full of division. That will not do. That will not do. The two should align. So the Shastra's vision becomes my own vision, through which mechanism? That is called Shravanam. Listening, listening, listening. And then in the, I always confuse these two texts. Atmabodha or Aparokshanu. I think it's in Aparokshanubhuti. In Aparokshanubhuti, there is a verse that is what? Brahmara Kitavat. There is this misconception. What is the misconception? That the wasp is seen bringing into its nest one sad little, almost dead worm. And then it is pricking it all. It is also seen to be taking it into its lair and then pricking it all the time. Then the worm gets moksha, I suppose. And then what will happen? After a while, you see that worm come in the form of a wasp. So you see the worm go in and it being pecked at, and then what? Wasp flies out. But what is really happening is that this half-dead worm is a host for the eggs of the wasp. That pricking is basically the wasp putting the eggs in the worm. The worm becomes a host for the eggs, and then of course the baby wasps fly out. So then when you see it, it looks funny because the worm went in, what came out? Wasp came out. Worm is very lowly, creamy, Kita. And then the Kita became Brahmara. Even the Kita became Brahmara. What to talk about you becoming Brahman, becoming again within heavy quotes. You know, it's yeah, you are already Brahman, but then the pecking of the wasp on the worm's body repeatedly means the Shastra is dinning it into you. And then when you become the wasp, that means you have become one with the Shastra. A very funny example, but it is there in Aparokshanubhuti and a few other places. It is there. So this Anusandhanam is called Shravanam. So this ascertaining the meaning and seeing it in accordance to what the Shastra has the Tatparya, the commitment to reveal, and what the teacher in keeping with the Shruti reveals, that is Shravanam Bhavet. And then next one, Yuktya Sambhavitaha, Sambhavitatva. Sambhavitatvam means again the fixing, the ascertainment, and Anusandhanam flowing along with that connection. Yuktya Sambhavitatva Anusandhanam. So first was how? Shrutya. Shrutya Shravanam. Yuktya mananam. This we can keep it in mind. What is yukti? A fruit that grows in the Himalayas. Okay? Logic. And what kind of logic? Anu. Shastram anu. So, anu means that which keeps in accordance with the Shastra. Logic we need. Like the whole waker, what is that? Those other two. Dreamer, sleeper. That's all what? Logic only. Logic is there, experience is there, but it is the logic we help ourselves to is in keeping with the Shastra. We are not having a commitment to logic, but since the mind is reasoning mind, logical mind, we help ourselves to logic, which is in keeping. We don't replace the Shastra, we help ourselves to understand the vision in keeping with the Shastra. So, yuktya what? Sambhavitatva. Sambhavitatva means the fixing of the meaning, the ascertainment. Anusandhanam, going along with that yukti. Mananam tu bhavet. We have to add mananam tu tat bhavet. This is called mananam. So what is the difference between Shravanam and Mananam? Shravanam, I am a sponge. And in Mananam, I clean the sponge. Because whatever it has absorbed may have been vitiated by already some assumptions. Because nobody comes to Vedanta in a clean slate. People don't come to Vedanta with a clean slate. Where do they go with a clean slate? Sanskrit class, okay? Always, ever fresh, ever clean slate. Ramo, clean state. Yeah. Okay? Vedanta, you should be the opposite. In Sanskrit, you should have Sangati, correct? You should have the connection, what was studied yesterday. But there, clean slate. Here, you should come with a clean slate. And here, there is piling and piling of notions and notions, or oceans of notions are there. And then, for such a mind, it is very difficult to have either sambhavitatvam or anusandhanam. Either to ascertain the meaning of the Shruti, very difficult. Because as I am sitting, it's not that there is not enough Shraddha. Shraddha is there, but it is competing. It is cutting. The Shraddha is cut through with what? With various competing ideas, ideologies, where the heart is all given away. There is no heart for Vedanta. It just will not open. It's like a tightly shut bud. This is what happens. There is one work, what is it called? Bodhasara. There is one Bodhasara. Sometimes we should study. Certain portions are very nice of that to study. And there is Shishya Viveka. So, not Shishya's Viveka, but what is the Viveka called this Shishyatvam analysis into disciplehood. And there the teacher, the author describes 3-4 types of students. The whole idea is to be like a lotus which is open to the sun of Brahma Vidya. When the sun of Brahma Vidya touches the heart lotus, what happens to it? It opens. So then here some lotuses don't open, he says. Let's see why they don't open. One of them is a clay lotus. What happens? Waterlogged and sinks. Another one is a lotus made of wood. It bobs up and down and goes away. And the third one is a lotus made of stone. Even before you say it sinks, it has already sunk. And then the last one is the real lotus, the real Shishya. So here, this is the idea, is that we can't expect that there will not be notions. So first for Mananam, what to do? First for Shravanam, I have to set them aside. I have to get to the trick of setting the notions aside, whether they are notions about various matas, darshanas, ideologies, theologies, because I have to give this a chance to work. So, Vedanta to be given a chance to work, and especially notions that are not compatible with, or rather some of them look to be compatible with but they are not, I learn the art of suspending them. Now that was a temporary band-aid, suspending the notions. Now what? After suspending the notions, then I can't just, keep it suspended. They will come back, they will colonize, they will eclipse the mind. And so then I have to deal with those notions in the light of the meaning that has been fixed about the Shastra. Each notion has to be contented with, and then when I see the fallacy of it, I should have the intellectual honesty to drop it. That is what is called mananam. Various kinds of notions are there. All kinds of notions, secular notions, religious notions, spiritual notions, theologies, and all kinds of things. Notions about the Jagat, notions about God, notions about the jivas, notions about oneself. All these notions have to be interrogated in the light of the Shastra using common sense reasoning. Common sense reasoning. So this is all about how one has grown up also. One has grown up believing a certain thing. This is exactly how things are done. And it's good to be flexible. Okay, that's how you do it, no problem. But here, that whatever you did is not of much use here. So supposing somebody has a notion, through karma only we get knowledge. Somehow, moksha. Karma is karmana moksha. Through karma, I will get moksha. This is a completely incompatible notion to what is being talked about. Jnana devatu kaivalyam. This is the Vakya. Upanishad Vakya is what? Jnana devatu kaivalyam. Kaivalyam, another word for moksha. Through knowledge alone. Tad vijnanartham gurumeva abhigachet. Every Upanishad is talking about knowledge, and here what is the person's thought? Because of how they grew up, or because of the certain philosophies or bodies of knowledge they were exposed to, or they picked up something somewhere, that only through action you get what? Moksha. You will be surprised how much of the population believes this, because everybody, there is a certain orientation. It's called a jivik orientation. Jivik? Yeah, it's a word? Now it is. So, a jiva's orientation is towards doing. You just go outside and see who is sitting quietly. Nobody will be sitting quietly. Either they are sleeping it off, okay, yeah. Or they are, what are they doing? If they are not sleeping, they are doing something or the other. Anywhere you go, see, any city you go, any town you go, any place you go in the whole world, not just here in India, any place you go, everybody is busy. Why? Because the doership is a very big notion. That is, regardless of the religion they follow, regardless of their philosophical or spiritual beliefs, regardless of what they think God is separate from them, God is one with them, doesn't matter. Whatever they think, this doership orientation is so strong that to that person you say, you need moksha, so therefore what? What should I do? What should I do? And so for such a person, this mananam has to happen. Shravanam is not enough. Okay, I sat and listened. Now what do I do to make myself Brahman? How do I experience Brahman? I have listened to 10 Upanishads. How do I experience Brahman? How do I feel Brahman? What is it that I need to do? And many people think that Vedanta is a theory and it's like a cookbook. Cookbook means what? Especially it's close to 12:30 and then somebody gives you cookbook. You're standing in line waiting for the bell to ring. Some days it doesn't ring at all, very late it rings. And then you're standing in line, you just open randomly, oh, very nice, how to make this. And all the ingredients are listed. Standing in line, you read all the ingredients. Is your hunger satiated? No. You have to actually go buy those things and then do what it tells you to do. This is our orientation. We think Vedanta is like a cookbook. If you are hungry, then the cookbook will not satisfy your hunger. Unless you eat it, you assimilate it. Then I don't know. But then the cookbook is not going to satisfy your hunger. What is going to satisfy your hunger? Actually following the rules of the recipe, collecting, gathering all the raw materials, what are they called? Ingredients, and following the method. Then only it is ready. But here what is the case? Is there a cookbook thing in Vedanta? No, there is nothing to cook. Nothing to cook. Why? Because it is Siddha Vastu Vishaya, whereas the recipe is what? Sadhya Vastu Vishaya. Sadhya means that which has to be attained, that which has to be gained through what? Various methods, actions. Karya, karma, sadhya, vishaya. Whereas, what is Vedanta? Siddha Vishaya. Siddha Vishaya means what? Already there. What am I? Brahman. What am I? Non-dual. What am I? Whole, limitless. Equated to Jagat Karanam Brahma. This is what I have to understand. But if the doership doesn't go away after Shravanam, and most of the time it does not, therefore a very thorough interrogation is needed. This is what is called Mananam, mentation. First to think of all the things that you have done in order to what? Get moksha. No, I did it to be happy. Well, that is moksha. All the things you did in order to be happy, in order to be free, think about your own life. Because you can't think about other people's life, you don't know what they have done. Think about your own life and see all the things that you have done in order to gain some happiness. In order, how much elusive this forever has been and how much elusive this happiness has been, you think about that. And therefore, the stopping of the doing comes as a refreshing breath of air. Very refreshing it is. Stopping the doing is actually a relief, because I have done myself into the ground, I have done this, I have done that, I went here, I went there, I got this job, I got that job, and then something was still lacking. What was lacking? There was a sense of lack. That's why it's called lacking. There's a sense of want centered on the self. No matter how much you try to get it, it is not centered on the objects. That's why the lack will not go away. What will make the lack go away is to understand that I am not a wanting, lacking person. Otherwise, in the background there is this lack. We have this instrument that keeps the major tones of the raga going. It is called Tanpura. So you set it to the major notes of the raga and then you keep strumming it. That is the job of one of the people in the vocal concert. What does it allow the person to do? The musician. It allows the musician to improvise, because the notes of the raga are constantly strumming. So this vocalist can go all over the place, introduce some other raga also and come back, and then what? And then come back because these notes are there. It's a steady hum, a drone, so to speak. Don't think drone. Nowadays drone means just it will be hovering somewhere. No, not that drone, this drone. That drone got the name because it makes that sound. Yeah. This is the original drone. So then, every jiva has a drone. What is the drone? I lack, I'm not enough, That is the raga. I'm not enough, I want. Another raga. It's always, why me? Forgot a very important raga. Why me? Victim raga. My horoscope is not good. One more raga. Everything is bad. Another raga. This is always there in the background. How are you going to remove that? Doing what? What kind of an action is going to remove it? Other than exposure to Vedanta. Because that lack is a wrong understanding of oneself, which needs to be corrected in the light of the teaching. This is how the self-knowledge takes place. We can't even say the self-knowledge takes place because I am a good student. No. Self-knowledge takes place in spite of us. Despite us being there, self-knowledge takes place. Not because of us, in spite of us. In spite of there being mounted so many wrong thinking, so many resistance, so much block, so much everything. Self-knowledge does take place. That is the beauty of this Shravana Manana Nididhyasana. And so this Mananam is very important, especially now in Kali Yuga, because we are not Uttama Adhikaris. We are somewhere in the middle. So we have to have what is called Mananam. And so I am giving you various examples of where this Mananam can be applied. First is to the Jiva itself. My own self, all the notions about myself, very much catching hold of me. So my own self, that I have to drop. Whatever I think I know is wrong. I have to drop it in the light of this teaching. Why? Why should I drop it? Why shouldn't I hold on to it? Because along with the notions is also the desire to drop the notions. I don't want to be feeling victimized. I don't want to be lonely. I don't want to be limited. I don't want to be finite. I don't want to be a miserable person. I want to be happy. All this is all also there mixed up with the notions. So I have to choose. Am I going to hold on to the misery and rock it, singing it some lullaby, or am I going to drop this notion so that this pramana can work on me? And so this is with regard to the jiva, And then even with regard to the jagat, there are so many notions. Jagat is all bad, or Jagat is very good, all good, idealist, some kind of an idealism. It is all about these two different continuums. Two different continuums. On the one hand, it's all good, on the other hand, it's all bad, and most people come where? Somewhere in the middle they fall. Most people fall in the middle. So, this is bad, this is good. These are all my own value judgments. This person is bad. Why is this person bad? The person is bad because they did this to me, or they did not do this to me. So, this veneer, the patina of subjectivity, that dropping that in the light of the Shastra, after enquiring that it has no other place, is also Mananam. And then Jiva, Jagat, then where do we come? Ishvara. Lots of notions about Ishvara. So many notions about God. And religions in the world will be few, but then the notions about God will be so, as many heads are there, that many notions will be there. God is all good. Now this is a setup. If I say God is all good, what happens? When something I don't like happens, then what will God become? This is the problem. It's a setup. There is no way to explain this. And so I have to bring in some other entity. To explain all the bad things, I have to bring in some other entity, which then becomes what? A parallel reality to God. And if God has parallel reality in the form of evil, devil, whatever it might be, Satan, so many things are there. So many notions are there. If it becomes a parallel reality, then anantya hanihi, that which is limitless, is the limitlessness suffers. How can you say it is limitless? It is delimited by some other thing. Only good things are God and all the bad things will, the jivas are, some philosophies say the jivas are the ones who are creating mischief. Like this, what is that called? The ISKCON philosophy sometimes say. God is all good, it's the jivas that are the problem. Jivas are doing bad things. So like this kind of a separation brings in, and these kinds of notions bring in more confusion, and I'm not able to understand what Ishvara is, what Bhagavan is. And if I am not able to understand Ishvara, then how can I understand the Mahavakya which says Ishvara is who? You, non-separate from you. And then the Lakshana also I have to understand. That is not a direct oneness. If it's direct, if it's Ishvara is you, if it's not the implied meaning of the words, then if it's a direct meaning of the words, then we get this New Age philosophy. That's what it is. New Age philosophy is nothing other than believing that I am God. But they haven't studied the Shastra. They picked up something somewhere, and they pick it up and they say, I am God. Group of them say that. And then they sit and wonder, how come I can't change the weather? What happened? I'm God. Why can't I manifest wealth in my life? I can't change the weather. I can't change this. And then this is a problem. This is a very, very big problem. Because where there should be Lakshana, I have to see this. And the Manana includes why the implication is there. Why not the direct correlation is made between myself and Bhagavan? Because the Vachyartha will not work. Vachyartha will not work. Remember that one. What is that? Aham cha tvam cha Rajendra Lokanathau Obhau Api. Remember that always, yeah. You and I are both world lords. Compound. Even in English we have a compound. Only slight difference. What are you? 60p. Shashti Tatpurusha. What is that? Lord of the world. What am I? Bahuvrihi. Lorded, the one who is lorded by the world. Every single passing breeze becomes a problem for me. This is who I am. So you can't make this, the Mahavakya does not operate directly, cannot operate directly. That is how half the time people leave Vedanta and go away, oh, how can I be God? Oh, no. And this happened to Pujya Swamiji also. Not that he left Vedanta, but about this being God or whatever. So once he was going from one particular, what is that called? One particular airport, he was there and he was going from one particular gate to another gate. It was already late to catch his flight. And then some people came and said, you have to buy this book. What book was it? Gita as it is. Okay? You must buy this book. And Swamiji just said, Namaste, please, I'm in the middle of my travel. Namaskar. No, you should buy this book. Not now. He was trying to be polite. Not now. I have to go. And then he left. And as he was leaving, there were two men, and one of them said, you are not God, And Swamiji could not resist. He turned around and said, if I were God, I wouldn't be running to catch a plane. So, I won't be running to catch a plane. So this is so where the equation is made, why the implied words, why do we need lakshana, why is it not direct meaning of the words vachyartha, why the lakshyartha, all this is part of mananam. And the mananam is for shanka nivaranam. What is shanka? Conch shell. Anybody? Yeah. What's the difference between Shanka and this? Mahaprana. So this is Shanka. Shanka means all kinds of doubts. And all the doubts our sages have made into two. Very neatly they fall. Pramanagata Shanka and then Prameyagata Shanka. Gata means centered on. Pramanagata Shanka. Doubts centered on Pramana. Why I have to study? Why Vedanta is a Pramana? Why not I bring in my own Pramana? How come the sages channeled the Upanishads and now we have to study them? Why can't I also sit and channel my own Upanishad? Yes, you can. Just have the same mindset, free of raga dvesha as the sages did. Upanishad will come to you also. So these are all the shankas centered on the pramana. Why are you so fanatic? They will ask. Why are you so fanatic? You say only by knowledge is freedom. Why can't I go somewhere and be free? And to them we say, please go anywhere you want and be free. No problem. Because Vedanta, there is nothing there to convert. There is no conversion possible because it is already you. How can I convert you to you? You are already you. So therefore, this is only for people who have gone everywhere, done everything, and then come to the understanding that nothing works. So I'm going to give this a try. If you are going to give this a try, give this a total, full try. That is what is mananam. Ridding one's heart of various contentions and notions about Shravanam, about how this knowledge is gained, about why Vedanta is a means of knowledge, why not something else? And all this is called Nivaranam, resolution of Pramanagata Shanka. Then there is another kind of doubt. What is that? Prameyagata Shanka. Shanka centered on Prameya. What is Prameya? Ishvara, Bhagavan, oneness. The vision of Vedanta is the Prameya. The subject matter of Vedanta is oneself as non-separate from Ishvara. That is the Prameya. Prameyagata Shanka means, why should there be oneness? Why can't there be qualified dualism? Yeah, that's what, Vishishta, qualified dualism. Yeah, that is the English way to say it. Qualified dualism. Qualified for confusion, that's all. And then there is one more. What is that? Sometimes dual, sometimes non-dual. Bheda, abheda, vada. All these vadas are there. Because the Hindu dharma gives freedom. There is total freedom to interpret the Shastras, there is given freedom. So the hermeneutical freedom being there, then these people who are qualified dualists, this Ramanuja and all, they were very, very erudite. And in a way they are not wrong. They only stop at a certain place. That's what it is. They don't go beyond that. And it works because it is teaching people who are at that level and who need that particular knowledge. Sometimes the doorway to Vedanta is through dualism alone or through qualified dualism. Those become the doorways, because that is where one cuts their spiritual teeth of Shraddha, Bhakti, Seva, and even Jignasa, desire to know. All these things come from these kinds of philosophies, because this is what it is. And then finally, so you can't, and also you can't say that why can't I sometimes be Bheda and some different and sometimes not be different. This is not something, one of it only has to be true, because what is real is what? That which cannot be negated. Supposing I say, Aham Dukkhi means what? I am subject to sorrow. Shochami, I am subject to sorrow. Then it should be true at all times. Is it true at all times? No. In sleep, am I subject to sorrow? No. I may be subjecting other people around me to sorrow by having sound sleep. That's another compound. How do you resolve it? Sleep that makes a sound. Sound sleep. I may be subjecting other people, other people are wishing, where are my ear plugs? They are wishing like that. I may be subjecting other people to sorrow, but am I subject to sorrow in sleep? Never ever am I subject to sorrow. Not at all. And so therefore, this Prameya Gata Shanka means interrogating all these things about this Ishvara. Who is Ishvara? What is Ishvara? Why should I know Ishvara? Why should I settle accounts with Ishvara? Because we have talked about that also. Why? Because I can't settle accounts with 8 billion people plus countless number of other life forms and countless number of insentient things, all of which, with all of whom I have a problem. So therefore I have to go to the source. And what is the source? The source is always the primary caregivers. And then now I have to learn to override those hurts, interrogate those hurts, and go beyond them and learn to trust again. Dare to trust and talk about or invoke the distrust around the local mother and father is resolved by invoking in Ishvara the mother and the father of the universe, like even baby Ganesha did. Baby Ganesha was giving us a psychological lesson in that mango story. Very beautiful. So this is Pramanagata Shanka. Prameyagata Shanka. So all this, once you have warded that off, then what happens? Then this is called Mananam. Shravanam and Mananam. So when do I do Nididhyasanam? The next verse, 54 will explain. Tabhyam. Tabhyam means what? Shravana Mananabhyam. Tabhyam nirvichikitse arthe. Vichikitsa means analysis, thorough analysis. Nischayena vichikitse arthe. Sati Saptami. So when Tabhyam, when the meanings of Shravanam and Mananam, the Nirdharita Artha, the meanings of Shravanam and Mananam, meaning of Ishvara, meaning of Jagat, meaning of Jiva, is all what? Chetasaha sthapitasya yat chetasaha of the heart, sthapitasya. So there, in the heart is abiding the meanings of the words of the Upanishad. The words of the Upanishad are not just some wafting breeze that comes and goes. Now they have been fixed, sthapita, fixed in the heart. The meanings of the words of the Upanishad, the words of the teacher, are not something that are just there. Sometimes I remember, sometimes I don't, sometimes I recall, sometimes I don't understand. But the meanings have already not only been ascertained, but I am the meaning. I am the meaning. I have to understand. I am the meaning. There is no other meaning. So the words of the Upanishad, asangaha what? Tvam. No, asangaha aham. Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. I am the meaning of the word Brahman. I am the meaning of the word Atma. I am the meaning of everything. Nothing here is outside of me. This I have to understand. This wholeness, when I understand, and then, so that means there should be not a shadow of doubt after Shravana Manana exercise. There should not be a shadow of vagueness or error. Sometimes that is there. That means what? Go back to Shravanam. Go back to Mananam. So go back again to listen. That's why people listen for a long time. You have to listen for a long time. These 3 months is nothing, I tell you. Nothing. Nothing you gain in these 3 months. Yes. That's why I waited till the end to tell you that. So, if I said in the beginning, bhag jate sab log, everybody would have run off. Oops, U-turn. So, nothing means there is some idea, but what he is talking about here, what Panchadashi Kara is talking about, such a beautiful thing. This thapite arthe, this when the meaning is fixed in the heart. Fixed means nothing can remove it, nothing can shake it. The Bhagavad Gita says, Gurunapi dukkhena na vichalyate. He is not shaken by even the worst or the hardest of challenges. Because you see, when everything is going well, it's very easy to have a tranquil mind. You can be having, what should I say, Om Namah Shivaya moments all the time. Wonderful, ahaha, Om Namah Shivaya, no problem. Everything I want, I'm getting. Wonderful place to sit in the class. And the food also was, all the vegetables I liked today was made. Very nice. And what? Nobody said a wrong thing to me from morning onwards. Everybody said only good things. And then what else? Nothing went wrong. Not only nothing went wrong, that is just baseline. Nothing should go wrong. But then on top of that, people gave me compliments. People said, this is so wonderful, that is so great about you. And not only that, I got a present for no reason at all. Somebody came and gave me present. And then at that time, one can be a fantastic Vedantin. Yes. And one with the whole world. Yes. You can even smile at the annoying person in your life. Chalo, today nothing against you. Nice smile. No problem at all. Yes, you are also Ishvara. No problem. And then, but the slightest wind of, what is that? Misfortune or difficult karma comes, what happens? Yeah, prasabham harati manaha. Even for the vipaschit, second chapter says, even for this vipaschit means who? The jnani. Even for the jnani also has to be very clear not to slip into this jivahood, jivaness. Somebody who has studied, almost a jnani, somebody is. And then something happens, prasabham, by force, the mind is ripped off from what? from the bed of Vedanta Shastra, from the bed of Mahavakya, where it was nicely lying down. Yes. And all the lullabies were coming. Asangoham, Purnoham, everything. It was enjoying this music. And then what? It was ripped out of this bed by the slightest of difficulties, forcibly ripped out of this understanding. Why? Because it was not sthapita in the chitta. In the chittam, it was not sthapita. If it is sthapita, it cannot be pulled away. Absolutely, it cannot be pulled away. And so, therefore, repeatedly shaking that, what is that called? The pole. Sthanu nikandanam. Shaking the pole to see how much weight it will bear. And then if it is shaky, what do? You put some more Upanishad mud and then tamp it down, some more Shravanam, some more Mananam, tamp it down again and again. Then you go back and shake it. Now it is fixed. Oh, that sounds very hard. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Is it doable? Yes, it is doable. How many lifetimes will it take? It won't take even one lifetime. It has to be done. It is done now because thankfully it is about the self-effulgent self that we are talking about. So therefore, in the presence of the teacher, then all these doubts will wear away. That's why we need a lot of grace. A mumukshu has to be hugging the temple all the time. We need a lot of grace. Huge amounts of grace is needed. Why? There is many a slip between the Mahavakya and the ear. Many a slip. You don't even know when that slip can take place. So does the mumukshu need punya? You bet. Yes. Mumukshu needs lot of punya because you don't know when, how, why the nascent knowledge can just be ripped away. Or one can be ripped away from this knowledge. I don't want this viyoga, the separation from this knowledge. So all the punya I need, and I need for Bhagavan to be able to give me that punya which keeps me in this teaching as long as needed for me to fix the heart on this, where the heart is unshakable. I also told you the story of what and so what. Remember that? Yeah. Say yes, even if you don't want to say yes, because I'm not going to repeat the story. Yeah, so first there is a shock. Oh my God, what happened? Okay, so what? And the why me for the jnani is shifted into why not me. Same why me, you put a not in the middle. Why not me? It have to happen to somebody, why not me? No problem. This is how one grows. And here the Shravanam does all the work where one is exposed like the lotus to the knowledge, the sun-like knowledge of Brahma Vidya. The heart is opened by the Shastra for sure. That's why the heart is is akin to a lotus. And when the heart is open, what is inside this lotus? Bhagavan. That's why all the deities sit in lotuses. If you see the photos, Lakshmi is seated where? Lotus. Saraswati, another lotus. Because the heart lotus, when it opens, you have darshan. That's why in the Sailorsburg ashram, the two doors that close make a beautiful lotus. You open, what do you see? Dakshinamurti. That is you. That is what it is. That oneness to show. So the heart lotus is opened by the Shastra, but then if Mananam is not done and if Shravanam is inadequate, any kind of a breeze of samsara, shut it again. Yeah. So this is only a certain critical point Otherwise, what's the use of studying the Shastra if the heart is going to be closed again? No. It's a certain point. When the knowledge is still shaky, unstable, baby knowledge is there. Baby Vedanta knowledge has to be protected. And so when baby Vedanta knowledge is there, the lotus, as it were, threatens to the heart, as it were, threatens to close again. Close to what? The vision of the Shastra. So the Shastra opens the heart lotus. What is my job? To keep it open. This is what is called this mananam. Keeping it open by ridding myself of the doubts, vagueness, error, all these things. How can I be Brahman? How can I be Ishvara? And if I am Ishvara, how come I can't control the weather? All these questions have to be resolved, And then, after that, then what? Nididhyasanam. So what is Nididhyasanam? So the first line we saw. First finishing off the Shravana Manana, ascertaining the meaning of this, and then what? Then Ekatanatvam. Ekatanatva. Ekatana. Tana means harmony. Ekatana. The Sajatiya Vritti Pravaha like. So, the same kind of vrittis, the same kind of thinking, which is Shastram Anu. When the Pramanya, the status of Shastra being a Pramana, is fixed completely in the heart, and there is no scope for any vagueness, any kind of doubt, then what do you have? Ekatanatvam. Ekatana. Eka, one. Tana, one note. A harmonious note of immersion. This is what is called pramana buddhi. No matter what question anybody asks, or there is no doubt anyway for this person to how to behave, there is no doubt, because the pramana is so firmly sitting that there is no doubt. Should I do this? Should I do that? What will a Vedantin do in this situation? There is no doubt. What should be Vedanta's response? There is no doubt. That is what is called Ekatanatvam. Single-minded focus, single-mindedness about the vision of the Shastra, free of doubt and all these things. And this is what is called Ekatanatvam Nididhyasanam iti uchyate. Etatanatvam etadhi. Etadhi means with regard to the Shastra. Then Nididhyasanam uchyate. So what is this Nididhyasanam? It is a kind of a meditation, very similar to meditation. And what is this Nididhyasanam? It is the and why do I need this Nididhyasanam? One needs Nididhyasanam because even though one knows Brahman, I am Brahman, I am Brahmatma, is understood. But what is not understood? But why do I behave like an idiot? That is not understood. There is a discrepancy between what I know and how I feel, between what I know and how I behave, between what I know and how my orientation is to the Jagat Jiva and Ishvara. Orientation goes back to how it was earlier, even though I know that is wrong. I know it is wrong, but then I still do things against the grain. And so, when such a thing happens, for habitual orientations, to remove habitual orientations, what do we need? What do we need? Nididhyasana. And why do I say it is similar to meditation? Because both come from the root verb dhyai. Dhyai becomes dhyana. So, dhyai, to meditate. So, and then, so in dhyanam what happens? In dhyanam, you repeat one mantra. And why should I repeat the mantra? Because I want to have a say over the ways of the mind. What are the ways of the mind? To go away. That is the way of the mind. What will the mind say? It's my way or the highway. I am just going. Yeah, you meditate. It tells the body. You sit in one place, meditate. I'm off. Yes. I'm pushing off. I'm already gone. You sit and meditate. No problem. We should all get along. So you sit here. I'm gone. So the body is there, sitting, and then where is the mind? Either in Vikshepa or in Laya. That's all it is. Either one is having sleep or one is already gone somewhere. Body is very much there. And so then what do you have to do? You bring in a mantra. A mantra cannot be a meaningless sound. People say, you can just, why mantra? You can just say something. And then earlier there was this group that was selling, what are they called? Bija mantras. And these Bija mantras were sold, and if somebody asks, what is the meaning of Bija mantra? We have many Bija mantras associated with various devatas. Aim has this resonance with Saraswati. Hreem, Lakshmi. Shreem, Parvati. Like this, there are all these Durga. So there is all these resonances. Gam, Ganesha, Ganapati. Lam, again Ganesha. These Bija mantras are not supposed to be chanted by themselves. But then there was a group that was giving the Bija mantras. Just chant this, What is the meaning? It's a meaningless sound. So this fellow purchased the mantra. That itself sounds funny. Purchased the mantra and began chanting it. And then the spouse was very upset. This was a foreigner somewhere in the United States. Very upset. What are you doing? I'm meditating. What is that? That's to sit quietly. And why do you need to do that? Because I have a lot of stress. She says, I'm doing all the work. Why are you stressed? You don't even have a job. Why are you stressed? No, you don't know. I have a lot of stress in my life. I have stress. So how do you do this? Meditation, what happened? Don't you need a guru or something? No. You just have to go and get this mantra. What is this mantra? It's a meaningless sound. What? Did you have to pay for it? Yes. You paid for a meaningless sound? I could have given you 10 meaningless sounds for free. You're not even earning. You paid for the meaningless sound, and here in the house we are trying to economize, we are trying to not buy so many things, and you paid for a meaningless sound? Okay, tell me what is the sound. It's a secret. I'm not allowed to share. You can't share a meaningless sound? No, I can't share a meaningless sound. What? And she said, I have had it with you. And then he starts to meditate. He just goes like this, and right in front of her, he just closes his eyes, shuts her out, shuts everything out, and starts to meditate. She says, I have had it with you. Storms into her room, packs up her bags, comes out, dashes out the door, slams the door, and then there is Shanti. And then he opens one eye. Has she really gone? Ooh, looks like she has really gone. And he says, OMG, this mantra works. It worked for him, removed the stress. It worked for her too. She didn't have to be with this kind of a person. Okay, more we'll see tomorrow. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.